If you ever struggle to figure out what you need to focus on for the week, or perhaps you get derailed by something that's completely unexpected, or you're trying to figure out what have I done and what have I left to do, then the MyDesk system is going to really help you with your working day and your week overall. Or maybe you've got that really organized, but you're struggling to communicate your achievements to your manager. If that sounds like you, again, the MyDesk system can really help. I spent over 15 years in the corporate world, primarily in the tech sector. And over the last years in that journey, I developed the MyDesk system. It's based on a mix of project management, personal productivity strategies, and my own mistakes and experience. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you exactly how to use it in terms of managing your own day and your own week, communicating with other people, and also recognizing just how far you've come when it comes to time to reflect and maybe look at your next steps. So the first two parts of MyDesk are your goals for the week, or your top 3 things that you're going to achieve, and the key activities that you need to do in order to achieve them. Now, I'd start with these because they are planned at the start of your week and they're usually fixed on the MyDesk system. Everything else is fluid, and I'll talk you through that in a moment. But these are the items that you're going to sit down and think about either at the end of the working week for the week ahead, or maybe first thing on a Monday morning, and say, what exactly do I have to get done this week? This isn't to replace your to-do list, your calendar, or your project management system, anything else that you use. This is designed to help you focus on this week, the next 5 to 7 days, depending on your working week, so that you're not getting bombarded with all the things that you could be doing. We start by looking at the top 3 goals or outcomes that you want to achieve. They're the things that by the end of the week, if you have them done, you will feel a sense of achievement, a job well done. They're the things that your manager might be looking for you to say that you've completed, or maybe your customer, your clients, whoever you need to deliver to. They are the results. And below them, you're going to then think about what key activities must you do in order to drive those outcomes. So, for example, if one of your outcomes for the week is to deliver a presentation at a team meeting, one of the key activities could be to finish that presentation. And so, what we do here is we link the tasks to the results that we're trying to achieve. But what's really helpful about the key activities is it's not just about the stuff that's linked to the outcomes. So I know that in the world of work, we usually have projects that we're trying to deliver. We've got key goals or outcomes for a particular week or period in time, but we also have business as usual. Stuff that just needs to get done. Send a follow up to a meeting, call back somebody, those bits and pieces. And they don't really fit in any box, but they're important nonetheless. And so the key activity space allows you to put the important tasks in, regardless of whether or not they're connected to a particular goal. Now, on the MyDesk template, and you'll see it if you choose to download it, it's limited. So there's only about maybe 10 or 12 lines that will allow you to fill in your activities, and that's intentional. I know you probably have way more than that to do, but this is to help you stay focused on the stuff that's most important this week. Trust me, you'll end up getting around to all that other stuff as well. This is to keep you focused on the priority. So, those 2 items, I suggest writing them down, popping them in, and then locking them for the week ahead. I don't want you really changing, especially the outcomes for the week. And the reason for this is that it's very helpful for reflecting on what you've achieved. And again, we'll cover that later in the video. Now, the next section on the template, I actually wedge it right in between the outcomes and the activities, is things that come up. And this is a live section that you'll be updating as the week goes on. Because in all my experience with all the different people that I work with and in my own weeks, I have never ever had a week that something didn't come up. An unexpected meeting or phone call or problem that derails me from my plans. And it's really important that we capture these, because if you don't, then it can feel like you've got nothing done if the things that come up prevent you from getting to the stuff on your list. And so, what we want to do is just write them down, keep a record of what came up. Maybe it's a particular person that rang you, a particular event, a client, a problem, whatever it is. And what's going to be helpful with this is if you can imagine that you're doing this over a period of weeks or even months, you will start to see patterns emerge. Maybe the thing that comes up isn't so random after all. Maybe it's the same person all the time, the same product, the same client, the same time of the month, time of the quarter. And this allows us then to better anticipate these problems and to maybe bake them into our plans. And so what it's really nice here is if you can imagine at the end of the week, you're going to have what you've planned to do, and then the few things that came up that derailed you or tried to derail you from that. Now, this connects really well into the next section, which is called issues and risks. When it comes to project management, a good project manager will always be looking at the issues which are preventing the project from moving forward and the risks that might derail the project if they come to light. But we very rarely do this in our day-to-day work. We just kind of hope for the best. But what I found is if you write down your issues and risks, the things that are either actively getting in the way of your work, for example, it could be your machine might be down, your systems might be broken, you might not be getting the support you need, all those kind of things. And also thinking about, ooh, what could get in the way, what risks are actually, potentially on the horizon for me. Once you write them down, it allows you then to think about, well, is there anything I can do to manage these? And what I would say to you, sometimes the things you find and things that come up end up coming over into your issues and risks section, and that's really, really good. Sometimes they're not linked, and that depends on the nature of your work and again what stuff is on your desk. Okay, so we all have a different work situation. But again, my experience has shown, and I mean, I've shared this template with thousands of people at this stage, is the minute you start writing down what could get in the way or what is getting in the way of your plans for the week, you're either able to manage it or readjust your expectations so that you don't again feel like you did nothing at the end of the week. After the issues and risks, we have got a fantastic section called Discuss with Manager. Now, this is potentially my favourite section of the whole system because it allows you to hold space for those things that don't fit anywhere else and the things that you need support with. It could be taking time off work, it could be training, it could be help escalating an issue, it could be anything, okay? But the idea is you write them down here, and if you're very clever, you're going to use the MyDesk in your one-to-one meetings with your manager. And you're then able to track with your manager as you discuss them and as those things get resolved. And again, from a personal perspective, this means that you very much feel in control of your desk and of, the conversation that you're having with your manager. And the manager is delighted because you're actually kind of keeping a record of this and making sure that there's nothing that slips through the cracks because they're probably trying to manage multiple people, and this helps keeps them accountable in a really effective way. Now, the final section of MyDesk is called Highlights. So this is where you track the couple of things that went really well for the week. Now, sometimes it could be linked to the outcomes or the activities you planned. Sometimes it could be just something completely different, something just, again, unexpected that was really good in your week. And this is important to track because when it comes to reflection, and we'll talk about this in a minute, we often are really good at remembering the problems. We're not always so good at remembering the good things and the achievements and when we made progress. So throughout the week, what you're going to have is you're going to have your key outcomes and the key activities. You're going to be tracking things that are coming up and getting in the way. Some of them might turn into named issues, or you might identify some risks that are going to prevent you from achieving your goals. And anything that you want to discuss with your manager, you're putting into MyDesk. And then when you wrap the week up, you're going to track your highlights. Now, here is the magic of the MyDesk system. It's a spreadsheet, which means every single week you can make a new MyDesk. And if you imagine in a workbook, you're going to have a spreadsheet for every single week. Over the course of 6 weeks, that's going to be 6 different tabs. Of course, you can carry over things like issues and risks from one week to the next. You can carry over things to discuss with your manager from one week to the next. And by the way, this is a great way to show people that the problems or the tasks or the asks or whatever it is, they're persisting, that they're still there. Like, it's one thing to say to somebody, I feel like this issue is happening for a long time, and quite another thing to say, well, I've had it on my desk for the last 8 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. So it's really, really good that way. But having this also gives you an opportunity to step back and take a look and see how realistic are your expectations with the reality of your working week. So, for example, if you're never achieving the things on your key activities, is it because you're not doing the right work? Is it because your priorities are misaligned with somebody else? Is it because you get pulled in different directions? What is it? Having a few weeks of data helps you to ask those questions and maybe get some answers. Or maybe, or something I see a lot, is your highlights are really different to what you planned. So that means you're getting things done, but again, it's not what you intended to do. And why is that? Only you know the answer, or maybe you'll have to have a discussion with your manager. But again, having this information allows us to ask, is there anything we can do differently? Is there any expectation we can set differently? Is there anything we can change in terms of what we tell people we're going to do or what we commit to ourselves to doing? And it's really, really powerful. Now, when it comes to things like promotion or looking to move role, or maybe just a performance reflection, seeing how things are going, having a list of all of the work that you've done, from the key outcomes that you achieved nearly every week, to the issues that you overcame, to the highlights that you wrote down, that's really powerful. And you can use it to build a story to reflect the work that you've done and to show yourself and whoever else who you want to show just how good you are at your job. Now, if you want to use the MyDesk, the easiest thing to do is to download the template because it's already made for you. Of course, you can make any adjustments to this that you like. I know that some salespeople like to put in their key meetings in there. I know that, some project managers like to kind of put in a project status for each of their projects. Whatever it is, it's a spreadsheet, it's yours to customize. But I would say to keep the core sections because, again, they've been tried and tested for so many years and they really, really do work. If you're leading a team, I recommend that you share this with them and you can use it to run your one to ones in the same way with everybody, which is just a really, really good way to run one to ones, both for you and for them. I would encourage you to share this with a friend or colleague who you think would benefit from a system like the MyDesk. And until next time, stay well and have a better workday.